We're well into the Yoga Vasistha now. In fact, we're coming near the end of it. And if you're just jumping right in here, which is quite possible because all these videos are on YouTube and people can just click into them at any point, I think it's worth mentioning that here we have something completely different, at least to the Western mind. There aren't many things which we could truly call different. One of the things we could call different, though, is the spirit of scientific inquiry, which sprouted up in different parts of the world millennia ago, but which, for whatever reason, took root and flourished in Western Europe, giving us technology. I actually see in the Yoga Vasistha the same spirit of inquiry as scientific inquiry. The teachings of self-enquiry are exactly in the same spirit as scientific inquiry. This might not be obvious to many people, especially those people that regard themselves as scientific. A while back I was asked if I wanted to join a YouTube group promoting atheism. And I was probably asked to do so because of something I said in one of my videos. I was probably having a dig at theism. So this viewer possibly assumed that I was atheist. And I've made the point previously that I see no need to define myself as a theist or an atheist. I find both points of view actually to be similar in tone. I see both atheism and theism as religious. This might seem strange, but if you look into it, this debate actually emerges in the context of the Judeo-Christian cultural background. It's a debate which is firmly established in that context. And both proponents and antagonists in this debate seem to me to be of a very similar nature. They argue their case very passionately. What they're doing is they're arguing about belief. And atheists are just as passionate in their belief as theists. I see no need to define myself in terms of God, either in terms of belief in God or denying the existence of God. In the true spirit of inquiry, God is irrelevant. So in saying this, it sounds like I'm supporting the atheists. But it seems to me that atheists, the people that think that they're supporting rationality, are actually quite irrational in their assumptions. Atheism is not a direct result of the scientific spirit. You'll find many scientists are religious. I'm a great admirer of Richard Dawkins, and I think it's good that people are attacking many of the absurd beliefs which theists hold. But at the same time, he makes some assumptions which don't strike me as particularly rational. One of his books is called The Blind Watchmaker, which seems like a bit of a contradiction itself. How can a watchmaker be blind? But the point is that he sees everything as it is now in terms of the process of evolution. And that's fine, there's no problem with that. But what there seems to me to be a contradiction with here is the assumptions made about the world, about the universe. And the assumption from this kind of atheistic, supposedly scientific outlook is that the universe is inert and insentient and unintelligent, and yet it's given rise to sentience and intelligence. How can insentience give rise to sentience? How can inertness give rise to life? We really have to assume then that there's no such thing as sentience, and that there's no such thing as intelligence. What these atheists, so-called rationalists, assume is that they're somehow separate from the universe. Which is a strange assumption to make. It's a very irrational assumption to make. And if the universe is insentient and unintelligent and not alive, then they, as part of the universe, are also insentient, unintelligent, and not alive. You can't have it both ways. So if they're arguing for their own lack of intelligence and for their own insentience and unawareness, well, that's the logical and rational conclusion, and there's not a problem. But if they think that they're sentient, if they think that they're intelligent, if they think that they're aware, then they really should acknowledge the intelligence which gave rise to this. That intelligence could be the whole evolutionary process. We have to call it intelligent. We have to call it sentient. Because it doesn't make sense to say that sentience and intelligence can arise from unintelligence, from insentience or non-sentience. Is that not logical? But these rational atheists seem to have a problem with describing the universe as intelligent and as sentient. Why should that be? It seems to me to be an irrational distinction. Anyway, this was all by way of preparing us for what comes next in the Yoga Vasistha, which I'm going to have to leave till next time.